University, and to say that I'm very pleased to see you here today. You are the fourth group that we have met with, and so I come to see faces which I hope I will see over the next few years. Like yourselves, I am a freshman. I arrived as Macau to take over as Rector to the University in May. So I've been here 4 months, a little longer than yourselves, but we are starting on this adventure together to see what we can make of USJ. USJ is the result of a lot of work by a lot of people. This meeting today is the result of the work of the Office for Student Affairs. It's also the Students Association and also the Office of the Enrollment, Admissions Office, who have been in contact with you right from the start, and also the staff who will afterwards be working more closely with you, who are in charge today, the coordinators of the course, and that you mean the teachers. Well, my word to you is to say that USJ is the result of all these efforts, and will be the result also of your effort and your hard work. Because a university is that. It's not, you should put that illusion out of your head. University is not a place for you to get a diploma, to get a job. For that, you organize a professional school, and you go and do some professional formation, you do a diploma, and you go off to do your profession. The university is more than that. Obviously, it has to be useful for you to find a profession afterwards, but that is not why it's called a university. Have you ever thought why it's a university and not a polytechnic? Why it's not just called an institution of higher education? The reason is that universities have a special vocation. The name university, do you know where it comes from? It comes from universe. You've heard of universe? You know what the universe is? Well, universe has to do with everything. And that is really what is present when you come to study at a university. Is the idea that you come to study somewhere where your particular field of study will be set within the universe of human knowledge and human endeavor to understand what the meaning is of life on Earth, and our work together and the building of human communities. So when you are working in a university, you're not only learning the subjects that you're studying, you should also be learning to think, and learning to think creatively, and learning to take a step back from the subjects you study and trying to think how they fit into your understanding and the humankind's understanding of what our place is in society, what our place is in the universe. That's how we bring values into our lives, and afterwards, when you become professionals, you will be able to bring values into your lives and your professional work. Because you'll have learned to think outside the box. Do you know what that means in English? To think outside the box. Normally we think inside the square we've been told to study. But you have to sometimes, or you will often in life, meet things which suddenly surprise you. You don't know the answer. It wasn't in the textbooks. How do you respond? A person who's had a university education should have learned to have thought, to be able to be creative, think critically, and analyze the situation and bring an inventive, creative response. So, being part of a university is part of an adventure to set up a community where we learn to talk to one another and question one another, not to take things simply as if they were just as you hear in them. You hear the professors and you think the professor knows everything, because you don't know what the professor knows. So you're studying with a professor and you think, oh, here I am, I know so little, and he knows so much. You forget that we professors, after we've been in your position, have become more and more specialized, and we started thinking and studying down one particular subject. And so we may know the last book about my area of studies, but I've already forgotten a lot of things which you will be studying. So when you are studying, you will be listening to lots of professors who are at the peak of knowledge in their area, but who've probably forgotten many of the things you're studying in some of the other subjects. So what you are hearing, you are in fact hearing the latest ideas from these various professors, and you can cross the information you're getting from one to others. You can question in different classes, oh, I've heard this over here, why does this happen this way, why doesn't it happen that way? So learning to question and to ask and to think and to introduce new ideas is part of our job here in USJ. Part of your job. Keeping us on our toes. You know what that means in English? Keeping professors up to date on what they're doing. I told your colleagues in the other presentations that perhaps you don't know, but universities started in the Middle Ages in Europe. And they started in some places. I remember one place in particular, a city in Italy called Bologna, which has given its name to the new process which is changing universities in Europe, the Bologna process. In Bologna, the university started as a federation of students who wanted to know more, and so they set about getting teachers. And it was the students who were the employers of the teachers. And they contracted the teachers, and they fired the teachers when they didn't like them. And so it was the students who were running the show, so to speak. And because they thought that their understanding of things and their studies should leave them independent of the interests, the economic interests, the political interests, which were in those days fragmented between kings and dukes and merchants and so on, they decided that they needed some form of independence. And so they went to the Pope, who was head of the main religion at the time in Europe, and they asked the Pope that he should give them a title when they finished their studies. And so that is how the titles, such as the bachelors, you've heard of bachelors, yes? Bachelors in French means a small knight, you might call him, a bas chevalier. And when you moved on a little, which meant that you were already independent, you didn't depend on other people from a sociological point of view. And then if you moved on a little further, you got a licentiate. A licentiate meant that you had a license to teach. That means that you took your title and you could cross frontiers. There weren't the same sort of frontiers they have today, but you studied in Italy, you could go to France, and you could move from France to Portugal, and you took your title with you, and it was valid everywhere you went. And that was how universities began, and that was the idea that you should acquire knowledge which is certified by your diploma, which will allow you to go out into the world and find a job or be useful or carry on teaching or researching and contribute to our understanding of what life is as human beings. So that's been long enough talking to you. We will meet again, I'm sure, during the year. And if you have any questions that you think need, or things that you think the university could improve on, do let us know, or through the Students' Association, or through the Office for student affairs or through your professors, your coordinators, and we will see what can be done. One of the big problems we have, and I'll put it at the top of the list, is that we haven't really got a very good university space. We are trying to be a university on a platform here in NAP, and we have two more apartments in NAP, which are NAP 2 and NAP 3, which you will come to know briefly today. And that is not a really good space for people to meet one another, and to work in libraries, and to develop a feeling of a community as a university. So we are committed to developing a new campus. And I can give you the good news that this week, on Tuesday, the Catholic Foundation, which is our title holder, gave us the green light for me to sign the contract with the builders. And our piece of land, which is all ready for building on, we should start seeing the building coming up off the ground from November onwards, which means that perhaps in 2 years' time, some of you at least will be able to move into the new campus, and that will be very exciting for all of us. So we will keep an eye on that expectation. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest.